Back here at Time Warner Cable Field, Fox Cities Stadium in Grand Chute, Wisconsin, home of the 2013 Division III Baseball National Championship, the Division III World Series, and Day 2 wrap-up show here on D3Baseball.com. I'm Pat Coleman, joined by Jim Dixon, the managing editor of D3Baseball.com. I think that's what we call you, right?
That's my title.
A second day of 4 games and an elimination day as Millsaps and Manchester went 2-0 here at the 2013 Baseball Championships, with Millsaps losing by a score of 5-2 to Ithaca, and Webster defeating Manchester by the score of 5-3. And both teams obviously coming back out after having lost yesterday. That's how it works in a double elimination tournament, especially for the teams that have to come out and play that 10 a.m. game, knowing that not only are you playing at 10 o'clock in the morning, but you're playing with a chance for your season to end. Ithaca came out and they jumped on top of Millsaps early, and they made it hold up.
They really did. And you really got to give the pitcher, John Prendergast, a lot of credit. He came in and he did his job. I'm looking over at the Millsaps line, and the one thing that steps out at me is Wes Perkins. Wes Perkins, their senior leader, he went 0 for 5. That's probably a big piece. I don't think he had as many hits yesterday. So it's as your big hitters go, so does your dreams.
Yeah, big hole in the middle of the lineup for them. Now, Millsaps did put 10 hits together, but only pushed the 2 runs across as Prendergast scattered 8 hits over 7 1/3 innings. Jimmy Wagner came in for the final inning and 2/3 for his 5th save. Ithaca, 2 home runs from Tim LaCastro. Castro came out to hit a home run as the second batter of the ball game to put his team up 1-0. And then another homer as an insurance run in the top of the 9th to make it 5-1. Millsaps scratched out a run in the bottom of the 9th, but LaCastro, obviously a great game for him, and for a guy who really, when he talked about it in the post-game news conference, kind of wanted to come out and help set the tone, and obviously hitting the ball into the ballpark will do that.
And when you look on the Ithaca side of this ledger, LaCastro is the best player, and he's the big hitter. He performed. Wes Perkins did not. So I think that's how we got to this result.
Yep, and Millsaps goes home. They finished the season 38-14. Keith Schumacher started, went 6 innings, gave up 8 hits, walked 1, 4 runs, all earned. He took the loss. He falls to 6-2. Prendergast with the victory. He improves to 10-0. Ithaca stays in the field. So does Webster. They defeated Manchester by the score of 5-3. Isaac Boehm, who came in as the starting pitcher, went the distance for them on a day, in a situation where you're falling into the losers bracket. You got the potential of a lot of games and a lot of innings piling up ahead of you in the next 4 days, and to have a complete game in this stage of the tournament is really big for the Gorlocks.
That is very important. And Webster has a potential 1-2 punch, and certainly if Webster's going to be here on Monday and Tuesday, I'm sure we're going to see Dooley again, the #1 pitcher.
You think they're going to be here on Monday and Tuesday, or are you saying if they're going to be here?
If they're going to be here. I think they have a long road to hoe to get there.
They do. They have to play tomorrow against Southern Maine. That is, tomorrow will be Sunday, right? Sunday against Southern Maine at noon Central. And for Ithaca, they play Kane at 3:30. Those are the 2 games. Those are elimination games coming up on Sunday. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Kyle Konarski started, went 7, gave up 6 hits for the Spartans, 4 runs all earned, and picking up his first loss of the season. Again, Manchester put some runners on base. They didn't leave on nearly as many runners as they did yesterday, but they still left 8 runners on base. They had a lot of opportunities in both of their games in this tournament that weren't able to cash in on.
I think they're still looking for the big hit. And this is a Manchester team that we expected to go deep into a tournament. And up and down the lineup, they got great quality hitters, and they just were not able to do the job, unfortunately.
And Webster makes do on 9 hits, on just 1 extra base hit on the afternoon as Stevenson doubled. He was 2 for 4 with a run scored, an RBI, and a stolen base, as Webster stays in the tournament as they defeat Manchester by the score of 5-3. Our 2 winners bracket games. I think we'll talk about the one where all the pitchers threw, and then or all the throwers pitched, and then we'll talk about the exciting game at the end. But Linfield jumps all over Logan Carmen early. Southern Maine ends up using 10 pitchers. They fall to Linfield 10-1. A situation in which Logan Carmen, for those of you who don't know, is the number 1 starter for Southern Maine. Got injured during the regionals. Otherwise, he would have been in line to start yesterday in the first round game against Millsaps. Instead, they hold him back for today, and he wasn't really at 100% today either.
He was unable to sit there and spot his pitches as well as he would. His fastball is about 10 miles an hour slower. He really is not pitching like the way that we would expect him to be. And it really is a shame because we got a pitching talent here that could have given us a very good game. But unfortunately, he just started a parade of pitchers coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Carmen goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up 5 hits, 5 runs come around to score, all earned. And then Andrew Richards, you may remember him. We talked about him yesterday. He came back today, pitched an inning in the 3rd. Sean Murphy came out of the bullpen, faced 3 batters, got one of them out. Luke Hammond threw 2/3 of an inning. Sidearmer Ryan Browner came in, pitched an inning in the 3rd. Dan Kinnan came in and pitched 1 2/3 innings. Dylan Morris came in and threw an inning. I think that was his first pitching outing of the year. Nathan Villo came in and threw an inning. Forrest Chadwick moved from center field and came in and pitched 2/3 of an inning. And finally, Troy Thibodeau had to come in and get the final out. And as Jim Dixon, as the keeper of the championship record books, knows, there were a couple of marks set in that a gaggle of pitchers. I don't know how many. When you get to 10, I'm not sure what you call it.
It really is. The previous record was 7 pitchers used in the game. We smashed it today.
You don't really see
pitchers.
Yeah, you don't really see a staff day at the championships very often.
You really don't. And when you talk to the coach, he wanted to give all of these pitchers a little bit of work. He wanted to get the jitters out. He wants them ready to go tomorrow.
Tomorrow they will face, as you mentioned, Webster. They have to come back for the early game. So for Linfield, obviously a fantastic offensive performance. They really, put a 5 spot on the board in the first inning. They added another 3 spot in the 4th, and kind of cruised from there, winning 10-1. Clayton Truex 4 for 5 with a run scored and an RBI. Corey Van Dolen with 3 hits in 4 trips. Tim Wilson 2 for 6 with 2 runs scored. Jordan Harlow 2 for 5 with 2 runs batted in and a double. Wiley goes deep. Forrest Chadwick goes deep for the only run for Southern Maine. As obviously Southern Maine remains in the tournament, but Linfield is going to the winners bracket championship game on Sunday against who else? We figure Kane is leading 3-1 going into the top of the 8th against Wisconsin-Stevens Point. So naturally, Wisconsin-Stevens Point comes back and wins that game 4-3, and they advance as well with obviously a big partisan crowd on their side, and overcoming kind of a shaky outing from their starting pitcher, J.P. Fireeisen, who really struggled early. He walked 7 over the course of 7 innings. And Stevens Point also, we talk about the 3 runs they scored in the top of the 8th, and Pat Bloom in their post-game news conference, the head coach, talks about all of the all the adversity and all the kind of thick skin that this team has had to develop. I think not only that, but even in that inning, you think about what happened in that inning. They basically get jobbed on a bad call at second base where Casey Barnes is clearly in underneath the tag, and the second baseman pulls his foot off the bag on what is ruled a fielder's choice. And then later in the inning, Clint Rose has the pitch hit him, and he's, I think, in our opinion, correctly called not a hit by pitch. But that's 2 instances in that inning alone where Stevens Point could have said this is just not our night, and instead Dan Douglas comes around and gets a 2 RBI single.
We have a team that really never says die, and you want to sit there and you got to give them credit. Once they have these issues, they put them at our mind and they get to the task at hand. And so that's why we have Stevens Point coming into the winners bracket final tomorrow.
They defeat Kane 4-3. Kane, we talked about aggressive base running in their first game. They were pretty aggressive on the base paths again here on Saturday as well.
I think if they get rid of some of these errors, I think they're going to be a force to contend with. Kane has gone deep in tournaments before, and we know they have a pitching staff that will sit there and come out and perform. They
do. For Kane tonight, it was Charles Steelman who came back and went through the complete game, gave up 11 hits, walked just 2, 4 runs, 2 of them earned as he fell to 10-3. J.P. Fireeisen, as we mentioned, got the start, went 7, got the W for Stevens Point, improved to 7-2. Luke Watson comes on and gets the last 6 outs, including the last 3 in dominating fashion in the bottom of the ninth for save number 6. So it's the winner's bracket championship game tomorrow night with the 2 unbeaten teams left in this field, Linfield and Wisconsin Stevens Point. And, obviously I think on paper Linfield is the favorite, but Wisconsin Stevens Point is playing with a lot of fire right now, a lot of inspiration. They'll have the crowd behind them. And, they're a team that clearly, if they get down, they're not going to get down.
And they really are. And I think what I hope to see tomorrow is I think Linfield's going to come out storming. In the first 2 games of the series, they've come out and scored a lot of runs. And I think they pulled the pressure back a little bit, try to get some outs and get the game in, because the game today was clearly out of hand and in Linfield's favor from the very beginning. But I expect that this is going to be a very good contest, and we're going to see an explosive offense, and we're going to see a gritty offense coming out on the Pointer side. And one does have to look here. One of the big heroes is Dan Douglas, senior leadership, setting a record of point for hits in a career. So congratulations to him.
Yep, and that big hit was the one, the 2-run single line drive through the middle in the top half of the 8th inning that put Stevens Point on top, and they went on to win 4-3. There'll be lots more coverage here from the 2013 Division III Baseball Championships here in Grand Chute, Wisconsin, as Jim Dixon and I and our crew, including Ryan Smith, Ricky Nelson, Ryan Coleman, and Larry Radloff, will bring you everything that there is to see and do here at the Division III Baseball Championships. So for our Day 2 wrap-up, we'll be wrapping it up, and we'll talk to you on Sunday.